Welcome back to the channel. Game Pass is going to hurt sales of games in general. Well, it looks like for Back 4 Blood, it was the #2 best-selling game on Xbox for the month of October, despite launching into Game Pass. So there's an interesting way to look at this. Microsoft probably is happy about this, but at the same time, I think that they'd rather see people engaging with titles that are in Game Pass day one in Game Pass rather than purchasing them. And I think the idea that they can see people purchasing games that are also in Game Pass day one may mean that there are more people not subscribed to Game Pass than there are subscribed to Game Pass in the Xbox ecosystem. It's an interesting tug of war that Microsoft is in with themselves. On the one hand, they have a service and they want you to subscribe to it, so they spend money to make first-party games for that service, and they also spend money to get third-party games in that service. Back 4 Blood is a third-party game. Now, most people on the Xbox for the month of October purchased the game Back 4 Blood rather than subscribe and play the game through Game Pass. Or people are subscribed to Game Pass, but they're still purchasing those games even though they're in the service. Now, I don't know if Back 4 Blood offered that discount, the one where you get a discount if you are a member for games, but either way, there are only a few ways to look at this. It's either games are still going to sell to consumers even though they're in the service, even though subscribers to that service can play those games, they're still going to purchase them, or people are not engaging with Game Pass in the way that Microsoft had hoped. Now, for third parties, this is a great thing. Their games are selling on the platform, and Microsoft needs those third-party games to sell on the Xbox, even the games that are in Game Pass, because if third-party games stop selling on the Xbox, then it becomes a platform that isn't viable for third parties, and they just don't show up there anymore. But on the other hand, Microsoft wants those titles to be played through their service by the subscribers. So it's interesting to see titles launching day and date in Game Pass, but also being purchased to the point where they're the #2 best-selling game in that ecosystem. There's also another way to look at this. If you're a third party and you're a bit hesitant to put your game into Game Pass, let's say that you have this big game and you developed it and you want to make all the money you possibly can. You want to get the biggest return for the money that you put out developing the game, and putting it into a subscription service may not be something that you feel is viable for you. Well, looking at this, third parties have nothing to worry about because good games are going to sell irregardless of whether or not they're in Game Pass or not, based on this information. So there's a ton of different ways to look at it from Microsoft's point of view with engagement to the service, from third-party point of view, from the relationship between third parties, between Microsoft, Game Pass, and them. And it's very, very interesting that this is, I think, the second or third really big game that launched into Game Pass, and the sales were not affected negatively at all. Do you think Microsoft is a bit upset that more people are purchasing than engaging through Game Pass? Do you think they even care? Do you think this is going to send a signal to third parties that, hey, putting your games into Game Pass will not affect the sales, and it may lead to more big third-party games in the service? Thanks for watching the video. Think about sharing it out on your favorite social media platform of choice. Maybe subscribe to the channel. At the very least, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.